going to call this meeting to order. Welcome to the April 16th, 2024 Police Commission meeting. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Commissioner Schur, why don't you lead us?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I'd like to request a motion to suspend the agenda to move to the Chief of Police Award and Recognition Ceremony.
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and go to the Chief's Award ceremony.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Good evening. Standing room only tonight. We'd like to recognize some of our officers for their outstanding work. We have some life-saving awards. The first letter I'll read is for Officer McBride and Officer Cardno. This certifies that Officer Megan McBride and Kevin Cardno have been awarded the Portsmouth Police Department Life-Saving Medals for their actions on March 29th, 2024, as per the following. Officer McBride and Officer Cardno were dispatched to the Piscataqua River Bridge for a report of a female in crisis sitting on a concrete barrier over the railing of the bridge. On scene, all attempts to communicate with the woman were unsuccessful. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Officers McBride and Cardno worked together to devise a plan to bring the woman to safety. Together, they were able to simultaneously grab onto the female to help pull her from danger. She did not resist. In a team effort, Officer McBride and Officer Cardno conducted a field interview and relayed information to the state police and the Portsmouth Fire Department. She was promptly transported to the hospital for evaluation. Officers McBride and Cardno exhibited quick thinking, compassion, and exemplary situational awareness, which ultimately saved the woman's life. The life-saving medal is presented to any member who distinguishes him or herself by performing an extraordinary physical act when the employee's direct actions result in saving of a human life with disregard for personal safety or rendering life-saving techniques using exceptional knowledge and behavior in the preservation of human life. Congratulations. If Officer McBride and Cardno can come up. Jackie, get a picture here. Commission want to shake your hands. We have a second scenario where we also have another life-saving medal awards. This will be Officer Jeff Rohde and again Kevin Cardno, a separate incident. In this incident on December 19th, 2023, Officer Jeff Rohde and Officer Kevin Cardno were dispatched to a resident on Oak Street to assist the Portsmouth Fire Department with a 67-year-old male in a cardiac arrest. Officers Rohde and Cardno alternated performing CPR on the man in an effort to prevent loss of life. The officers performed CPR until they were relieved by a paramedic who arrived on scene shortly thereafter. When the fire department began caring for the patient, He did not have a pulse. However, using advanced life-saving techniques, paramedics were able to get the patient to regain a pulse. The man was transported to the hospital for further treatment and evaluation. Follow-up at the hospital later revealed that the man had regained strong pulse and was breathing on his own, was expected to live following a serious cardiac event. Officers Rhodey and Cardinal, without hesitation, utilized their training to assist with life-saving measures to help this man have a fighting chance to live. Thankfully, the outcome was successful and resulted in a life being saved. The life-saving medal again is presented to any member who distinguishes him or herself by performing an extraordinary physical act when the employee's direct actions result in saving a human life with disregard for personal safety or rendering life-saving techniques using exceptional knowledge and behavior in the preservation of a human life. Congratulations. I'll be running out of room for these. All right, let me get a picture of you guys. We have one more. This is a letter of recognition for Officer Kareem Husani. In the early morning hours on January 30th, 2024, Officer Husani conducted a traffic stop on Lafayette Road after observing a vehicle with a defective headlight. Upon speaking with the operator, he noticed her steering wheel and her shirt were covered in blood. After asking the operator to step outside the vehicle, additional areas on a person were found to be saturated in fresh blood, and her speech appeared incoherent. While conducting a field interview, the operator revealed that she had attempted to hurt herself with a razor blade. Officer Husani immediately requested EMS to tend to her injuries. Once the paramedics arrived on the scene, Officer Husani placed the operator in protective custody for an involuntary emergency admission due to her posing a risk to herself. She was transported to the hospital for further medical evaluation and treatment. Due to Officer Husani's keen awareness and information gathering in the field, he was able to connect the woman with medical services she so desperately needed at the pivotal moment in her life. He exhibited solid training and, above all, the utmost compassion and professionalism throughout the interaction. It is my pleasure to commend Officer Husani's excellent police work with a letter of recognition. Kareem. Thank you guys for all the support, and you can leave if you don't want to stay for the rest of our meeting.
Make that last one. I'm not a big fan of stopping people for his tail light out, but that makes it look good.
Save the life.
Place is packed.
So we're back. Congratulations to the officers. I think, what we see in some of these words is just emblematic of the fine work conducted by the men and women of Portsmouth PD on a regular basis. And just on a side note, as we talk about congratulations, also congratulations to former Commissioner Shaheen, who completed the Boston Marathon yesterday, which is a big accomplishment. She talked about it this last year around this time and completed it yesterday. So now it is, I'll take a motion to acceptance of the minutes held for the last meeting on March 5th.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Public comment after, it's looking pretty empty in the house today. After the award ceremony, everybody filed out, so we'll move on to new business. And I think the first thing in new business is that we are happy to report that the city council approved the chief's contract last night. I speak on behalf of the commission and I say we are so thrilled to keep Chief here for the next 5 years, and we're so happy that we're moving in that direction. So, anyone else?
Yeah, I would add that, the chief, as I told the council last night, he's been an exceptional and unusual chief, both in the odd period of time, including the pandemic that he was serving, but also that he is committed to improving the police department in any way he possibly can. And we now have a police chief for the next 5 years who is in charge of one of the best police departments in New Hampshire. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Agreed, yes.
Chief, we're thrilled. We really are. You've led the police department through some challenging times, even before COVID, and you continue to demonstrate just fantastic leadership and calm leadership at that, which is really what you need in the job, especially given the all of the challenges that you faced, and we're happy you're continuing to lead the ship. So,
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
now on to facilities update. Chief?
As the facilities go, our current facilities is still in its state that it's been in for the last several months. Most of our energy now has been moved towards focus on a new community policing facility. We made some, minor upgrades, and we'll continue to do that in the time that we're here. We're going into, the weather's changing now, so we're going to go back into the season where the air conditioning comes on, and hopefully we'll be able to address the mold issues that we've had in the past with some dehumidifiers, but we're just trying to maintain at this point.
Now, is the mold remediation complete in dispatch?
That has not been completed yet.
Still ongoing.
That's still on the list.
Does anybody else? The next up is the community policing facility planning. And I can speak to that briefly. There's a working group convening tomorrow. Commissioner Scher is going to be a part of that meeting and looking at a couple different proposals or options for building design layout, knowing that that's going to occur on this campus here, shooting out from the current facility and using some of the existing space. Everything, just so the public knows, everything is going to be within the parameters of that $38 million. So that is what the working group is envisioning and working towards as part of this process. And so there's a long session tomorrow. The working group, there's been many meetings, and the working group is meeting for a long session tomorrow to collaborate and try to narrow down some of the potential options for building design coming off of the existing police station.
And so we're then looking to prepare to have another meeting with the council and update them and, have some public comment towards them at the end of May.
And so the idea is that after this working group, a few more meetings, the working group is prepared, then that presentation and meeting will happen with the city council to have further discussion. So again, the working group's objectives and the commission and the police department's objective are all obviously to very much collaborate with the city council and keep everybody apprised of the developments and efforts. Okay, on to community priorities. Do you want me to start? Or do you want to start?
I'll a couple things. One, two questions that I seem to always ask, both on the timing of the implementation of body cams, how that process is unfolding, and when do you expect the body cams will be in the arms of police officers? And second, the CAD RMS system, where are we in that?
So with the body cams, we have been demoing different pieces of equipment. We're, getting down to a selection process. I think we're at the step now that we're going to wait for the final budget to be approved to make sure it goes through the CIP, and then once that is done, we're looking at signing a contract with a vendor, and implementation would probably be sometime in early 2025.
And CAD-RMS?
CAD-RMS is, I'll let Mike talk on the CAD-RMS because he's more in the loop on that, but we are in the implementation process. We are looking to go online, hopefully, by October.
Yeah, so IT, myself, and a couple other divisions in the department meet once a week, sometimes twice a week, with the onboarding team from Central Square, and we're doing all the back of the house stuff as far as setting up the software as to how we want it to look, talking about data migration and all the information that's in our current computer system and how that's going to be migrated into the new system and what format we want it in. So right now, we're heavy into the IT building block approach to getting the system on board, and we're still tracking for in-house training for everybody in the police department scheduled for the month of October, and that would probably be about 4 weeks long, where the Central Square trainers, if you will come on site, and everybody will get, depending on what your role and function is at the PD, you might get a 4-hour training block, an 8-hour training block, or in some cases even a 12-hour training block. So we're staying on track with that timeline. In addition to that, there's a neighboring police department in Massachusetts that's a few months ahead of us in the process, in that they are transitioning from IMC as a CAD-RMS to Central Square Pro Suite, and I believe they're going through their onboarding training right now. So we're in close contact with them, so we'll be able to learn anything from their experience that we can implement and improve for October when we start to roll things out here.
Sounds like we're well on the way, and it's just going to be a great development for the police department once it's fully operational.
Yeah.
And Deputy Chief, can you talk a little bit about some of the build-out or efforts to make sure we're capturing in an effort that we can put into place programming that will capture the data we're looking for?
Right. One of the things that we've asked that the new CAD-RMS program do is be able to better produce to us data, as far as encounter data, better analytics for all the information that goes into it. So much of the information that's going to go into the new software is a lot of the same information that goes into the existing software. However, it's going to be much more easily mineable, much more easily produced, and much more easily to customize a report or generate a report from it. So that simplicity in gathering that data, and if we can think of a query to run, we'll be able to run it, as opposed to having canned queries that we can choose from. We can customize that with this software. So that's part of the things that we're doing now, leading up to October, November.
One of the great values of this is the police department will have so much better ability to show the public all that it's doing, be it what kind of crimes, just a whole host of things that are, at best, it was really clunky to make that happen under the current system.
And also the accuracy of the data. I mean, I think in this case, to your point, Deputy Chief, rather than having sort of being confined to specific boxes of does this sort of fit, we can really get very specific information, extract very specific information, and know that it's going to have a higher level of detail and accuracy that's probably missing at this point, just because our old system, doesn't have the capacity to manage or extract that information.
Yeah, in an example of that, a query or report, we could run a weekly crime report or a weekly crash report, run that report that it auto-generates on a weekly basis. It produces in an easily digestible format, and it recreates itself every Monday at 7 a.m. and gets emailed to command staff. So, when we open that software in the morning, that weekly report on whatever we want to run is generated in our inbox. We don't even have to run it. It's running it for us. So those are the kind of things where you're like, oh, that's really nice. That you build it out, almost let it run on itself, and then you can just open up your computer and the report's already there. You don't even have to ask anybody to produce it for you.
That's fantastic. And we're also getting more data. We'll have more specific data on differentiating between race and ethnicity, and some of the details that the resident advocacy group was really, working towards with the commission to get, so we can have that data for, based on all categories and qualifications.
Yeah, just one final point. With this CAD RMS system and the ability to generate this kind of data with a lot more nuance and ease than we did before, we're going to have the Portsmouth Police Department's going to be at the forefront of police departments in New Hampshire, in my experience, and talking with other departments. There tends to be a disinclination in some police departments to be overly concerned with data or overly open about the data, or not have the ability to collect the data. And so Portsmouth will, I think, be at the forefront of producing data that can help the public, the commission, evaluate the quality of the job the department's doing.
And just a last point with respect to the community priorities, we did welcome the social worker, so that's wonderful. It's my understanding she started on April 1st.
Yep.
And that will be really great for the department and really for the community to offer a full level of services, so especially because of, the need for it. So we feel, I think everybody's probably very happy to have
Been
her on board.
fantastic.
Do you want to speak to
Yeah,
that, Chief?
It's been fantastic. She's hit the ground running. She came from a background in the community where she was already connected to a lot of different agencies in the area, so that's been a benefit for her to kind of just slide into our department and just be on the go. So we're looking forward on the potential of the position and the path that it's going to lead our department and the community moving forward.
That's great. Does anybody have anything else? No? Okay. Chief, turn it over to you.
What's left?
Well, we can start with the crime analyst report, maybe Deputy Chief.
Yeah, deputy's got that.
Yep, I can do that. A few commission meetings ago, we were asked if we could post this to our website, the monthly crime analyst report, which we've done. So looking at some of the topics that we routinely get asked about, these numbers are from January 1st to March 31st, 2024. Calls for service, 10,795, which is down a little over 2%. DWI arrests, we are up 35% from 20 to 27. Reportable motor vehicle crashes, we are down 15% at 102. We've had 243 arrests, which is up 21%. We've taken 579 police reports, which is about a consistent average. We've conducted 1,911 motor vehicle stops, which is just about the same as 2023. We've taken 11 people into custody for involuntary emergency admissions. We are down 31% on that. Mental health calls, we are down 32 from 68, which is over a 50% decrease, which is notable. That's a significant decrease, and I think that's due to a number of factors. Mobile crisis unit being first and foremost there. that I think as we report these, this has been a few months now that the mental health related calls have continued to trend down. And I think that's a contributing, I think obviously the mental health, mental crisis unit is playing a role in that. We're happy to see that number go down. And with our social worker having started 2 weeks ago, we hope to continue that trend down, if not more. Juvenile matter-related calls down significantly, at also 40% from 231 from 52 in 2023. With the crime analyst, I thought it'd be worth mentioning also, since it's a relatively new position, we've had a number of calls in the last several weeks that we've leaned on our crime analysts to help solve crimes, not just report crimes that have happened or predict crimes in the future, but we've had a number of car thefts, we've had a number of car breaks, we had 2 different gun-related shooting calls, we've had surveillance images of suspects that have committed crimes, and we're starting to use the crime analyst now as an investigator to help detectives and help patrol officers to produce reports of people we've arrested, suspects for car breaks, kind of do some of that analytical research, not just to say what happened, but also produce data and help with the detectives and investigators and patrol officers solve crimes, to try to piece some of those pieces together that are time consuming. So it's not great to have her help with crime, but it's great to have the ability to lean on her and produce things that we might not otherwise produce, to help identify suspects, whether they're vandalizing property or shooting a gun at a school, to get her on board. She's excited to do that, and she's a great resource for the department.
If I could just add a little to that, it's, she'll be able to create hotspots and trends, where we can focus resources to try to prevent things from occurring moving forward.
I want to point out, I continue to point this out, but the trend has continued for long enough that how exceptional it's been that over the past year or so, the police department has been so successful in reducing the number of mental health calls, not simply by just ignoring the calls and categorizing them as something else, but, dedicating resources, engaging in a very constructive way with mobile crisis units. I think it's one of the most exceptional things that's happened in the police department over the last year or so.
I agree. I think, and with the social worker really getting started, then we can try to add in some wraparound services to make sure that, in conjunction with the mobile crisis response team, that individuals can continue to have access, because sometimes navigating the systems to mental health resources can be challenging. So again, with the objective to reduce recidivism. So I agree with you, Commissioner Scher, in that this is really an important step for our community to try to get at the root cause of, in terms of some of criminality or some calls for service that are mental health, that we can slow down by giving more service and support to mental health services. And, I think it's been fairly active. Chief, do you want to talk a little bit generally about how things have been trending in the community?
Yeah, the past few weeks, probably to a month or so, that the weather has started breaking, and especially in the last few days, there's been an uptick of just crime. We've had a rash of car thefts that actually hit the whole Seacoast region, between us, Kittery, York, Northampton, and even Greenland. Fortunately, we were able to track the suspect down and apprehend him. On top of that, the Jewish temple that was vandalized, or as a person of interest that we're looking at for the criminal mischief. One thing I'd like to say about that, though, is you know, there's been mention about an uptick in hate crimes in the city of Portsmouth, and you could look at that one of two ways, and I think one is, yes, there's been a report of an uptick of hate crimes, but I think our community is not accepting it any longer, and they're reporting it, which has brought it to our attention, and we're aggressively investigating it, and, you know, we've been pretty successful in resolving these cases, and we're certain that we're going to resolve this latest incident. And, you know, there's a bunch of different reasons on why these are happening. You know, maybe part of it will be with our social work and mental health, and some of it is, yeah, hatred. But we're working on it, resolving it, we're vigilant. I think our community is vigilant, and we're going to continue to stay that way. You know, it'd be great if we can prevent it from happening, but if it does happen, we're confident that we're going to solve it.
I think we've seen over the past, I mean, at least Commissioner Schur and I for the past 2 years, and you're going to see Commissioner Fernald as we go along, that that the investigative work by the police department has been outstanding, and that a lot of these, I think I can say confidently, while I've been here, all the major cases have been thoroughly investigated and suspects apprehended and prosecuted for these hate crimes. So, thank you for that. Thank you to, you know, for all the work to make our community, to stand up to people who are perpetrating hate crimes. We don't accept it in our community. Monthly traffic stats.
I touched on the yearly stats, but looking more closely at March, 510 motor vehicle stops in total, 27 summonses, and 30 reportable motor vehicle crashes, which is down 12 from February. So last couple of weeks, last month or so, we've seen just about single-digit number of reportable crashes. Usually we're around anywhere between 12 and 14 or so for the week. So we're happy to see that those crash numbers are low the last few weeks, and we'll hope that trend continues now that everybody's more out and about with the weather, and the motorcycles are back and those scooters are back. But something we'll keep an eye on.
And public service reminder to drive safely in the nice weather. There's going to be a lot of more bicyclists, pedestrians, and so,
Yeah.
anyway,
Bicyclists, scooters, and motorcycles.
right. Karen, the financial report.
We're in the final quarter of FY '24. We're tracking 4.5% under the cap. Fourth quarter projection obviously shows we're ending in the black with an anticipated surplus that will be returning to the city due to vacancies and whatnot.
How much does that, what is that amount? Can you, yep,
I'm just estimating, but
Yeah.
but probably, 200 to 300
Okay.
due to those vacancies. You talked about all the work going on in detectives and patrol. They're doing it all shorthanded. So I just wanted to let you know that. Regarding the FY '25 budget, right now we're preparing for the work session that the City Council is going to be holding on May 13th. They're going to do an all-day workshop with all the divisions and departments of the city, and then that'll be followed that night with a public hearing at 6 p.m. on the same day. Part of our budget prep is our strategic plan. The chief, the deputy, and I met with division department program managers last week related to their current projects, future projects, staffing levels, goals, and their 2023 accomplishments. So we'll be summarizing all that over the next 2 weeks and get you a copy of that. In terms of grants, last time we talked about an $11,000 CERT Homeland Security grant. They decided to purchase one more set of night vision, which is about $11,000. We've submitted a request to Congressman Pappas. The city manager had been in discussions with his office, and she had mentioned that with the new building, with the soft cost for the IT and the security system, that's one of the things that would fall under one of the congressional requests. So we prepped that and got that in. It's for $1.5 million. We submitted to Senator Sheen's office today a $1 million request for ICAC-related one-time costs. We're doing that in conjunction with the National National Criminal Justice Training Center with Fox Valley Technical College. They're going to take half, we'll take half. They prepare all the training, I guess, for all the ICAC commanders and participants. So we've submitted that, and we're working on the body cam request. Once we have a quote, we'll be able to put in for that as well.
A question about the 1.5 million you talked about through Senator Pappas.
Yep.
Excuse me, Representative Pappas. I'm sure he appreciates my promotion of him. Would that come off of the quote unquote sticker price for the new building, or is that separate from that?
Actually, what it was is we've had to cut the budget so much for the new building that if we can have some of these costs removed, we might be able to augment or be able to do some things that we had to cut on the building.
Any sense of when we will hear whether about that?
Have no idea. They're still waiting for direction from Washington in reference to what the initiatives are. They're just getting everybody's projects lined up so that once that gets released, they can put those in.
Second question, we'd had a conversation either at the last meeting or the previous one about the possibility of $5 million that might be able to go towards the building. But I think the last we heard from you, your thought was we weren't going to qualify because it was a target on rural areas.
Right, I was going to say, our architect Ian Reeves put me in touch with his representative, and they were the ones that said you're really not going to qualify for that, but they're looking for other means for us to be able to apply for money.
Thank you.
So we're just waiting on that.
So they're, fair to say, ongoing, searching for grant funding
Correct.
for the new building to either offset costs or enhance the
Correct.
the opportunity or the build out for the police station.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else? Well, we have in our packets the patrol division and court office report. Are any other business, new business, old business, anything else from anybody? Okay. So important dates to take into consideration. As Karen mentioned, May 13th is the city council work session on the budget, followed by the public hearing on the budget. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 21st. But make sure to check the municipal calendar for updates. That meeting is likely going to be moved probably to May 28th, but we have to finalize the availability of this space. So stay tuned. And a reminder again to be safe on the roads. And that's it. With that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Bye, everyone.